Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing out there? This Mike Melton. I'm here tonight for the premiere of From Pain to Purpose podcast. And I want to thank the Most High and thank you guys for tuning on to this special podcast. This is something that the Most High put on my heart to start up this podcast, especially from what I've been through. And I know the stories of a lot of other people that's out there. And we just want to talk about how people, tragedies and pain brought them to a purpose and to the light of the Most High. And now they're living a life a whole different way. Tonight, I got a very special guest to kick it off. One of my former students, Jazz. How you doing, Jazz?
I'm good. How you doing?
It's a blessing, man. I'm just blessed to have this. When I first came up with this idea, when the Most High put it on my spirit to do this, you was the first person I thought of. I said, I got to get Jazz on here to tell her story because I remember you was doing it before. But how's everything going now?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Just walking in alignment. Taking the steps to just use what I've been through in a good way. Staying focused, locking in on things that I need to lock in on, and just setting my eyes on a path that was, already paid for me. So everything's going good.
Hold on, let me share this on your page right now.
All right, cool.
All right, we ready to go. Yeah, and that's very, very important because I always tell my clients that I work with and people that I know, we all got a story. And once we have our story, there's only two things we could do with our story. We could either use it as a testimony to help others, or we could use it as an excuse to destroy ourselves. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you chose the latter route, and I'm so proud of you, man. So let's get at it. First, I want to get into who Jazz was growing up, and a little bit of history on you. So let's take it back to talk about growing up as a youngster in Red Bank, and how was it growing up in Red Bank?
Oh, wow. So that's little Jazz. Yeah, that the face tells it all, right? So much
Mm,
personality, just from a young age. I grew up in Red Bank, right
mm-hmm,
up the street from Red Bank Primary School, to be exact. I lived on Tilton Avenue, if anybody knows Tilton Avenue. My grandmother was Sue Beck, as they know her, and my mom was Tiffany. And from birth up until I became 18, I was in Red Bank. Grew up there, went to Red Bank Primary, Red Bank Middle, Red Bank
mm-hmm,
Regional. My
mm-hmm,
whole journey was through the path of Red Bank, and I loved it. I was a member over at Pilgrim Baptist Church for a while,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
as like a teenager and everything. And even when I was younger, they used to say, like, I was in a gifted and talented program right at Red Bank Primary School, right?
Mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm.
used to say that I was either going to be the first lady president or I was going to be the next Oprah. I was going to be somebody, right? And I took that and I hold on to it because, like I said, even from a young age out in Red Bank, people knew that I was going to be something one day.
Indeed. I remember when you came to the middle school. now, let's take it back to the middle school years. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You remember I was one of the teachers there. How was middle school life for you?
Middle school was cool. Middle school was cool. I had to pick and choose my battles and my friends. That's when you start to figure out who you are, who everybody else
Uh-huh.
is, kind of thing. And I always just walked my own path. I wanted to fit in some places, but I always
Mm-hmm.
found a way to just be Jazz. And I love middle school. You and Mr. Clark had my heart. Miss Melton, Miss Melton
uh-huh.
was my heart. All the teachers there, I love them so much. They helped me to be who it is that I am today. So middle school was fire. I loved it there. All my brothers, Nasir and
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Reeves, all of them, my brothers. I love them so much. Kieran Mitter, my best friend.
Oh
All of
wow,
them
you taking me
I hold
back
on
with the
to.
names,
Right,
man.
right. Yeah, all of them I
Wow.
still hold on to. Those my brothers. Love them so much. But yeah, middle school was cool. It helped me to open up some doors just at that time in my life, walking into Avid and
Avid. Wow.
yeah. Walking into Avid, that takes it back too. But yeah,
Wow.
I love middle school. Middle school was some good years too.
You know how many Avid trainings I had to go to? Wow.
And my favorite was a little Coke bottle, learning how to
Yeah.
figure out your emotions.
Wow, Avid. And
Yeah.
then after that, your next stop was Red Bank Regional.
Right, been
Now
grieving.
you growing into the nice young lady. Talk about those years and how they formed your life.
Yeah, high school was a bit challenging. You know what I mean? Those are years
Mm,
when you trying to figure out who you are for real because you're getting ready to go off to college or you're getting ready to figure out what life is going to give you. And I
mm,
personally was suffering mentally during my high school years. I was
wow.
battling with depression and anxiety, and I didn't even know what that stuff was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through some things, and I used to stay in. They call it the source at the high school. They call it the source.
Indeed.
Stay in there.
Indeed.
I was getting counseling from Miss Liz up in there. Everybody knew if you can't find me, you know, you could find me in Miss Liz's office. Like it was like a hiding spot for me, but it was
Mm-hmm.
also my comfort spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I used those years, you know, to play sports, to just try and do different things. I was into everything, did dance, did sports, tried to be the class president my high school senior year. I tried to be the class.
Wow.
Didn't go so well, but I ended up being homecoming queen. So
All praises. All praise.
it's,
Congratulations on that.
yeah, yeah. So high school was cool too. You know, I had to pick and choose my battles, pick and choose my friends. You know, first
Mm-hmm.
heartbreak, second heartbreak, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think high school shaped me into who I am today too. Yeah.
Talk about life after high school and then, relationships and things of that nature. What was your goals and how was life going once you got out of high school?
So I actually tried to get out of high school quickly. I actually did dual enrollment. I was trying to be out. I left school early every day because I did dual
Uh-huh.
enrollment with Brookdale Community College. So
Mm-hmm.
I was earning college credits while I was finishing my senior year. That's a thing that
Mm-hmm.
you do. So I was leaving high school early every day up until that last day when I walked across that field, you know, and I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I didn't want to stay in New Jersey. I knew that I didn't want to stay there, but I ended up at Kane University for a while.
That's
Um,
where I went, my alma mater. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go
All
ahead.
right.
Go
Cool.
ahead.
Cool. Yep. So I went to King University for a semester. I became the class president there of the freshman class at
Mm,
King University,
mm,
which was pretty dope. But I also kind of lost myself in the midst of it all. You know what I
mm,
mean? Trying to figure out who I wanted to date, trying to figure out, who I was as a woman and losing myself as a woman during those
mm.
years, you know, giving myself an identity that I didn't want to have. But I had to go through that to help some people through it now. You know what I mean? Because
All praises.
see me and they think that I'm perfect and that I'm holy and I'm sanctified, but I done been through some things. I done did some things,
Mm,
you know.
mm-hmm,
And college brought that out of me to a point where I had to figure out who I really was. Like that was the time where I was like, all right, this ain't who you are. That's not who God called you to be. Let's figure out, what we can do with this. So I ended up leaving New Jersey.
mm-hmm,
Right after my first freshman year there, I ended up in Maryland at Towson
mm-hmm,
University. Got
mm-hmm.
accepted to Towson, spent a semester there, but school just wasn't for me at that time. And it's not for everybody, you know what I mean?
All facts.
Sometimes when you go to school, it's cool, but it's like if it's not something there for you, if you can be more than that, if you have talents and gifts that you can use outside of an education, go ahead and do that. Education is important as well, you know what I mean? But just figure out who you are first and figure out what it is that you can attach to your gifts and your education at the same time. So that's what I did fresh out of college. And then fast forward a little bit after that, I ended up, falling in love again, becoming a mom for the first time,
Mm,
giving birth to my first son in 2017. Yep,
mm,
that's my Nas.
mm,
Nasir was born. That's the next step.
mm, mm. Now let's talk about life was when Nas was born and how your life changed and how did you enjoy motherhood at the time?
Man, it was a beautiful thing. It was hard. It wasn't easy, but it gives you purpose. A child gives you purpose.
Mm-hmm,
So when I had Nas, I was staying at home as a stay at home mom for a while. But
mm-hmm,
then I also decided to go back to school. So his dad was helping me, as I was getting through school and things like that.
mm-hmm,
But when I was a stay at home mom, I ended up becoming a blogger somehow.
mm-hmm,
And I was writing blogs, I saw it on the internet and social media that you can be a stay at home mom and do things like writing blogs and stuff. So I started a blog called Young, Gifted, and a Mama. And
mm,
as I was writing them blogs, I'm like, I write a lot. Like I could really turn this into something. So I Googled how you write your first book. So the
mm,
birth of a child turned into me becoming a self-published author. In
all
2018,
praises.
I took the words from my blogs, turned it into a book, published my first
Mm,
book in 2018. And then I just took it from there. I started doing speaking gigs. I started writing more words to make more
mm,
books. Uh,
mm-hmm.
and then, all of a sudden 2020 rolls around and life takes a drastic change.
And in 2020, you was hit with a tragedy. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go into the details, but what was the tragedy about in terms of like what happened?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, the image that's pictured here, this is me visiting my son that you just saw, Nazi. This is me sitting at his gravesite
Mm,
because on April 12th of 2020, I had to make the decision of taking my son off the ventilator. It wasn't even much of a decision left because by the time I got to the hospital after the incident, he was cold as ice. He was
mm,
cold as ice. It was to the point where my mom came to visit and she just like, Jazz, why is he so cold? And I could still hear her saying those words because it's like, it was sad. You know what I mean? It was
mhm,
painful. And we didn't understand why, because you never think that a child is supposed to go, but God never said that.
mm,
So I sat at the bedside. And as I was sitting at the bedside, I just knew it was time to let go, but I wanted to know what
mm,
I was going to do once I let go. Because
mm,
this was my child. He had given me reason. I went back to school for him. I wrote books for him. I did everything for him, and that's
mhm,
when I finally realized that when you do things for the things of the world, which includes people, you lose those
mm,
things, and that's when you
mm,
lose yourself. So
mm,
my son was of the world, right? He was flesh of the world. So when I lost him, I wasn't supposed to lose myself. I was supposed to find myself because everything that I do should be for God and not for my son.
oh,
So
great.
at the bedside, I was like, God, you got to tell me what's next. You know what I mean? Like in
Mm,
that moment, like it's either it was going to break me or it was going to make me. And knowing me, I wasn't going to let it break me because nothing is going to break me when I believe in God, right? So I took it. I asked God what I was going to do with it, and instantly I knew I was going to save another child's life, and I knew that I was going to save souls too by using the gift
mm.
that he had given me, which was my voice, which was my story, and I started to run with it.
During this time, who was there for the support? Because this gotta be had to be a trying time for you. Like, who was around you for support?
I had a ton of family. First of all, you know what I
Mm,
mean. My mom, I'm an only child, but my mom was there for me. My stepdad was there for me. My immediate, extended family was there for me. But most importantly, where I found the most comfort was in the people that were just as broken as I was. I
mm,
turned to my followers that were already following me because of my first book, following me because of my blogs, all that stuff. But those people, a lot of people say, you can't seek validation from other people, but they didn't validate me. They just gave me a sense of feeling as if what I was doing was going to be meaningful to somebody. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't
mm.
seeking for their approval. I wasn't seeking to please them. I was more so seeking the ability to be able to pour into them so that I could get back more for myself. So between like my family, my close friends, and between my followers, I was set, and I'm still set because they still here.
How did you deal with triggers after it happened that reminded you of the situation? I know for me, and you know the tragedy that I went through,
Yeah.
and different things took me back, especially early on, going to different schools, going down different streets, hearing different songs, things of that nature took me back to that moment. What were some of the triggers for you, and how did you go about being able to get past that?
Man, it's crazy because, well, like I said, when I sat at the bedside, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And healing other children was the first thing that came to my mind. So
Oh,
I put
praises.
myself on a journey of becoming a pediatric nurse practitioner. Gave up, started
Mm,
up again, gave up, started up again. And the reason why I kept giving up is because the sounds of the machines in the hospital would give me PTSD. I
mm,
couldn't even sit in the hospital room long enough during orientation to hear the sounds of the machines without seeing my son laying at the bed where another child was laying.
mm,
So I'm like, Lord, you can't be calling me to this. I ain't never gonna heal. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep
mm-hmm,
turning back to the same things that's breaking me because it's
mm-hmm,
so tragic. It was such a tragic loss. But by the grace of God, I'm now almost a year into being a PCA in the Children's Hospital because I'm choosing to
oh,
overcome it.
praises.
I'm choosing to overcome it. And at some point in your life, you got to use what's trying to break you and allow it to make you who it is that God has called you to be. So the songs, when I hear songs on the radio, I don't let them put me in a place of devastation. I cry when I need to. I feel it
Mm-hmm,
when I need to, but I find the good and the light in all of it. Because if I allow myself to sit in it for too long, I don't know where I'll end up. You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm,
you gotta choose. It's either you're gonna get through it or you're gonna allow it to consume you so much that you lose yourself instead of finding yourself.
I remember I was in rehab the second time, and I had a dope therapist down there. And one activity she gave me, she said, "Mike, this is what I'm gonna allow you to do. I'm gonna give you only 30 minutes a day, and you could whine, you could cry, you could do whatever you want for that 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But when that 30 minutes over, you gotta let it go for that day. Now,
Man.
now you'll get a 30-minute the next day, but
Mhm.
for that day right there, you gotta let it. You gotta let it. You gotta let everything out for 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
then after that, that's it for the rest of that day.
Yeah.
You gotta give me that. And I started doing that. I started getting better. And then I remember, which is gonna bring me to my next point. The first time I told my story, because I had asked God up to that point. I said, God, why did you allow all this to happen to me? For her to get murdered, for me to find her, for me to be the suspect, and then for me to be an alcoholic. And the first time I told my story and everybody was staring at me, that's when it hit me. It wasn't about me.
Whew, that's good.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
I
it
get it.
was about him getting me through it so I could go out and help people. Did you
Yeah.
have any moments like that?
Yo, it's so funny. This is so good. Like, I'm so proud of you because this is gonna be
Uh,
good. This podcast here to be good. So the night after, the night after the baby passed away, matter of fact, the morning after, I went live on Facebook to tell my story. And people
mhm.
couldn't believe that I sat on Facebook telling
I
my story.
remember that. I remember that. I remember that.
And when I tell you, by the time the sun was setting, a GoFundMe was created, and we had raised
Mm,
$16,000 by the end of
that's
that night.
mhm.
16,000. When a child passes away, we don't have no insurance. Like, we think about it, we want to process it, we want to make sure we set by the time our child turns this age or that age.
Mhm.
But when he
Mhm.
turns 2, I wasn't thinking about life insurance for a 2-year old. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm
Mhm.
like, how am I supposed to pay for this? How am I supposed to pay for that? How is this going to go? And when God said, go ahead and go live and tell your story, I didn't know what was going to come of that. Not only did the
Indeed.
$16,000 to cover everything in full come from it, but it also transformed to a platform that allows me to tell my story to save the next person. Like, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing, and it makes you just want to keep going and keep doing it. But I can honestly
Mhm.
say it's times when I don't want to do it because I don't feel as if I'm strong enough. But that's when you
Indeed.
turn back to your faith and you remind yourself that you went through this for a purpose and a reason.
Indeed. 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 So then you moving along. You start understanding that it's time for you to make a make a move towards your purpose.
Yeah.
What was one of the first things that you decided to do when you said, "All right, I got this. This has to be my purpose."
I told my story.
Mm,
My story. I went on social media and I told the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And some people
mm,
was mad, some people was happy, some people was saved, some people didn't understand. But by telling my story, it reminded me of the fact that I didn't go through it for no reason. So along with me going on social media, I also wrote my second book, which is called Regular is Not What I Was Born to Be. Um,
mm-hmm,
and in that book, like, it's a physical book. Like, my first book was cute and everything. You see the blue book, that was cute.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It was like a nice little
mm-hmm,
self-published book. But I honestly got the book right here, and I just want to like show y'all what can really come of what you're going through. So this is my
mm,
actual book, a physical book that
mm,
deserves to be on bookshelves, right? That I'm going to
mm-hmm,
work hard to put on
mm-hmm,
shelves because it's a story in it that people need. So I just turned back to what it was that I was doing prior to the loss. I started getting back on social media. I started
mm-hmm.
writing another book. I started booking speaking gigs. I found a church home. I started going to church and, just trying to keep living. That's what I did. I just wanted to hold on to who I was so that I didn't lose it too much and allow it to break me. Yeah.
Along the way, we all still go through hiccups and stuff. What were some of the obstacles that you had to get past once you decided it was your purpose? Because the adversary don't like when we figure out when the Most High tell us it's something our purpose and we start moving towards it. He like, "Ho, you ain't supposed to be doing this." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, what were some of the obstacles that he tried to throw on your path while you was on your way to fulfilling your purpose?
Man, for starters, suicidal thoughts. I just wanted to
Mm.
be with my son. I
Mm.
just wanted to be with my son. Ain't no purpose for me to be here no more. Even when I already had said yes to God, I still was questioning it. I just wanted to end it all, pretty often. Like, it was just like, I have no purpose here. Some of it is my fault. Maybe if I would have did this, maybe if I would have did that, this wouldn't have happened. I sat in that for a little while. And then that transitioned to physical pain, because all this is connected, right? I'm studying the body right now in school, and all of this is connected. So from my mind, it started to affect me physically, right? So I would suffer from grief like weekly. I would have to call out from work in the midst of me pursuing everything else. I'm like, I can't show up for this event. I can't show up for this. I can't show up for that. And it made me feel like I was just like, giving up on myself, but I really couldn't. I felt like I couldn't fight it. Like, my body, I would get caught. One year I was going to Miami for my anniversary, and I went to the doctor. I was so sick. I didn't even know you could get the flu in the summer, but the doctor was saying, like, it probably wasn't even the flu. It probably was a simple fact that my body was responding to the grief that I hold within me. And I just knew right then and there that I had to break this thing, because there was no way I was going to suffer from something that wasn't supposed to break me in the first place. But yeah, he had physical pain, mental pain, agony, stress, just a whole bunch of things that I thought I couldn't fight or overcome.
I went through that too. I remember contemplating suicide, and the 3 reasons I didn't do it was: 1, I didn't want to go to hell; 2, I didn't want my family and friends to go through any more pain. They was already going through it with what happened to her. And 3, I knew if I did it, that they would stop investigating, and I knew that, like, they would never, like, I wanted to see it through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see it through. That's why I didn't do it. So you down in the dumps and you feeling like that. Did you have a moment where he was like, "Nah, Jazz, I got you. Let's go. Get back on your feet and let's go"?
Yeah. I'll give you the exact moment. It was Christmas. Christmas of last year. Christmas of last year. It just passed, right? We're just getting into the new year. I went to that cemetery and I cried like I never cried before. I cried so bad. And I just, like, it felt like everything was breaking off of me, but at the same time, it still had a hold on me. But God, He said to me, I'm not through with you yet. I'm not through with you yet. You might be ready to give up, but I'm not through with you yet. And I knew in that moment that I still had work to do. I knew that I still had things that needed to be done. And it's nothing like knowing that somebody still believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it felt good to know that God still saw me. He still had work for me to do, and He still wanted me here. And in that moment, I just was like, this come this year, 2025, I'm getting to work. I'm going to chase everything that He told me I could have, from becoming a doctor to becoming a preacher, to be whatever it is that He calls me to. I'm going to get it done, because what do I have to lose at this point? I wasted time straying away from the things that He's trying to give to me because I'm afraid that I don't deserve it. You know what I mean?
Indeed. And the last thing in this little part of the second interview, I know for myself, certain times of the year triggers my body, even if I ain't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time I was sitting at work at the rehab I worked at in PA, and I had like 2 years sober, and I just wanted to drink bad. I'm in the rehab working, and I just wanted to drink. Like, I wanted to leave work, go to a bar, and pick up a drink. And I called my sponsor, and my sponsor was like, "What's going on around this time?" And I hadn't thought about it, and it was July 15th, and it was 2 days before her birthday. My body had already started to trigger without even thinking about it. You get what I'm saying? And then from like July on to like November, I go through different triggers. You know what happened in September, you know what I mean, her birthday, and then when I got the month we got married, all that is lined up. Right. So through all that time, my body automatically starts to react. I just started to understand that this year. Have you had those kind of experiences yet?
Yeah, I really hope my family and my friends is watching this, because you make me feel like I'm not alone. I'm telling you.
That's why we doing this, to let you know your body is going to naturally trigger.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. And when I tell
yeah.
you the week before the 12th of every month, I fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
I get
Yep.
physical aches, I get
Yep.
mental headaches,
Yep.
fevers, like my body, I can't move some of parts of my body. It's like I got arthritis in my fingers, my feet. My mom says, "Wow," because you literally
Yeah, it's real.
um
It's real. It's
like
real.
I literally the week before the 12th of every month. It's like I guess during that first year of me experiencing it, my son passed on April 12th. And
Mm-hmm.
literally the 12th of every month, my body starts to acknowledge the fact that I must be holding on to it still. I don't know what it is. But literally every week before, I know it's getting ready to happen because I get irritable. I get
Mm-hmm.
overly, I'm tired. I either eat
Mm-hmm.
too much or don't eat at all. I
Mm-hmm.
start crying randomly. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to feel it, and that's the worst part about it. Like I want to
Mm-hmm.
fight it, I don't want to feel it, but I gotta feel it for some reason, and nobody will understand that unless they go through it. You literally just told my story.
Indeed, because your body already is trauma. It's past trauma, and your body is already used to it, so it just starts to react to it. So now, what I do now is understand that, right? It's gonna happen. So now I just let the feelings come through and go out. Before I used to try to fight it and do different things, but now I let the feelings come through and go out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that's one thing that I had to learn. So now let's get into the other side of it once you start doing the things you was doing. Let's start with you did the walk. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Take us back to that moment when you
yeah.
came up with the idea and who helped you put it together. Give me the whole plan. Like how did everything go out?
Yeah. So it all started with a dream.
Mm,
And I had a dream of my son. It was like a living moment, but it became a dream of when he used to tell me about an excavator, and I'm like, "What is an excavator?" So one day we was driving in a car, and I said, "Oh, Nazi, look at the." I forgot what I think I said the digger. I said, "Nazi, look at the digger over there." He said, "No, mommy, that's an excavator," and he was only like
mm,
2. So I'm like, an excavator. So if you look at the logo there, I started a foundation called the Lure Foundation, and
mm,
across from Monmouth Memorial Park, where my son is buried, it's
mm-hmm,
like a field of excavators. I kid you not. It's like a
mm,
whole skew of, I guess they work over there, and that's where they park their little excavators at.
mm-hmm,
But I took that dream and that memory and I made it into a foundation, the Lord Foundation, which is
mm.
laying our angels to rest. So
Perfect.
I created that foundation to help other families that are unprepared for whatever it is that they may face when a child passes away.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and I didn't fall through with it. It's still a thing, but I haven't really been working on it because I've been, like you said, every month I'm going through something physically for a period of time where I just give up on
mm-hmm,
everything. But I created the Lord Foundation, and as I was pursuing the Lord Foundation, I turned that into the idea of remembering him for his birthday this year in a different kind of way, the year of the
mm.
walk. So I came up with Nazi's 6K Fun Run Walk. I created that flyer myself.
Dope, dope, dope.
Created the foundation by myself.
Mm-hmm,
I had to go to the police station up in Jersey in Red Bank, and I had to stand before them, the Red Bank Borough or whoever. I had to stand before them, tell them my story, and tell them why I needed the field for this event. That was
mm,
easy. They couldn't believe, what I was doing after what I had been through, and it was even a mother up there that had just lost child herself, actually, and so I had all their support. I got the field. I got my uncle to DJ. I put the whole thing together.
oh, praises. That's
Beautiful. Got the
dope.
shirts made at Custom Ink. I did everything. I put it all together myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I had like support from my mom to encourage me and help me to look at the designs and ideas, but I did it all on my own by the grace of God.
How did you feel when you saw it come to fruition and you see everybody out there and the walk is happening? What's that feeling that like went through you at that moment?
I still got a purpose.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Still got a
That's what I'm
purpose.
talking about. Next up, you started doing a podcast sharing your story. What made you bring that into fruition, and what were some of your best moments of doing that?
Honestly, I feel like the episodes that I did create, they helped me more than they helped anybody else.
Of course.
Because I play them back sometimes now. I started the podcast,
Mm.
gave up on it. I'm telling you all these things, like you gonna make me get back to it all for real.
That's why the Most High. That's why the Most High made this happen. We about to get
Yeah.
this thing popping again. Let's go. Let's
This
go.
podcast is fire. I'm never gonna lie. So I got the title. It's not right, but it's okay from the song Whitney. It's not right, but it's okay. The Whitney Houston song.
Yeah.
And I was like, because one day I was just like, Lord, this ain't right, but I gotta make it something. Like it's gotta be okay. I'm like, it's not right, but it's okay. Like talking real life, because this is real life. Like you go through some things and it's not right, but it's got to be okay because you got to get through it. You know what I mean? So I turned it into a podcast, made about, I think I got like 9 or 10 episodes on there, and I love them, and I want to fall back in love with them. You know, I want to get back, plug my mic back up, and just give it another try. But yeah,
it's dope. You could even get on this StreamYard thing. This StreamYard thing is dope. It's easy to set up. I see how you good at doing the Canva thing. Is like you could set StreamYard up the same kind of way. Jump on here. I'm telling you.
Too. I made my podcast cover too.
Yeah, indeed. Do all of that. I'm proud of you when it came.
So much potential, man.
Yeah. Then next you jumped into. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the books.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm in a dilemma right now because I started doing mine, but the problem is. And this for anybody out there that's listening that might know somebody. I think my story is too much, and I don't want to blow a huge opportunity trying to do something myself because I'm not an author, where somebody else could take it and really put it to that next level. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to put it out there, and it could have been something way bigger if the right person would have got their hands on it. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to say that just in case somebody listening, but yours, like, how did you get the fortitude to complete both of them? Because I need something like that. Like, how did you get the fortitude? Like, how did you keep going? Because I got a lot done, but I can't get over that next hump. Did it take a while? Like, give me your story on it.
I ain't even gonna lie, I was afraid that somebody was gonna steal my title before I finished it. I was scared that God was gonna give the vision to somebody else, and I had to get it done before they got it done. Like the titles is unique, so I don't think nobody would have ever created them. But I was like, Lord, there's so many books out there. If somebody said, because when you put it onto Amazon through the self-publishing platform, it's going to tell you if somebody already got that title. So the reason why I finished them was because I didn't want somebody else to finish.
I love that.
I finished them because I was scared somebody else was going to take it. But in all honesty, though, I am a writer. And I didn't know that ghostwriting was a thing outside of music. So I could begin a journey of ghostwriting people's books for them, because the first thing people say to me is, I can't finish it because I don't know how to write, or I can't finish it because I don't know how to put my words into sentences. So honestly, if you want to take that journey with me, you want to sit down, tell me your story, and I write it, that's something right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to definitely
story to go to waste.
Yeah, I want to definitely. I had somebody that could have really did a good job because I read some of her stuff.
Right.
But the price she wanted was like crazy, and I was like, this thing could turn into a bestseller that could turn into maybe a movie or a screen thing. We could make some crazy money if you just rock with me a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Like, because my story ain't just it ain't just like no regular thing. A lot happened that they didn't even show on the cold case files. You get what I'm saying? So, but this episode is really about you. So the next thing, like, when you look at the cover and you know that that's yours, how do it make you feel?
I think it was the second book for me. Like I said, I got it right here.
I see the smiling on the cover. I see the smiling.
I like stick it up and like rub it a little bit, because this is real. Like I really
talk to me about that.
So every time you self-publish with Amazon, they mail it to you like they mailing you an Amazon package, your first author copy.
I saw somebody open theirs up on one of my guys that was on my other podcast. He opened his up on camera before. Yep.
Yeah, so the blue book, Playing with the Cards That You've Been Dealt. When I opened that one, I was in a car with a couple of my friends on my way to church, and I opened it on live, and I was like, oh my God, I got my first book. But this one, I opened it when I was by myself in my car, sitting outside of work, ready to give up. Okay. And I didn't know that that's what was in the package, because I get books all the time, but I didn't know it was going to be my book. And when I pulled it out the sleeve, and the first thing I saw was my smile, I broke down. I broke down because
Mm.
this mean that I had really did it. And then when I pulled it all the way out and I held it, I was like, yo, this is not a regular book. This is a book.
You
Like,
get me charged.
you
You get me
know
charged.
this.
I gotta do it. You get me charged. I gotta do it.
Oh
You
my,
get me
let
charged.
me tell you that moment when you pull it out that sleeve and you see
Uh-huh.
that it's completed and finished, you can't help but to praise God and to thank yourself for pushing through because you did it.
I
You
see
did
you,
it.
sis. I see you, sis Regina. I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm definitely getting you on the calendar because your story is explosive, and I definitely need you and your husband on this platform.
That's what's up. Get it
So so that's dope, man. And then I've been checking you out. I've been checking you going out, coming online with the scriptures, your Bible studies.
done.
Talk to me about the motivational speaker thing. Like, what is it? Is it the Holy Spirit? What is it?
Definitely a Holy Spirit. It's like my heart is on
Mm.
fire. Like I am in love
Ah.
with speaking. I am in love with
Ah.
talking about God. I'm in love with giving people hope and faith. Um, I just like I love it. Brings a smile to my face just thinking about the moments when I speak, the moments when I get the opportunity to speak, to tell my story, to encourage
Uh-huh.
somebody.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I want to do it full time someday. I really do. I just want to travel the world, spread the
Me
word of God,
too. I be
and
going to I be going out speaking at um rehabs and places and telling my story, and it's nothing like when the we call it the Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit in Hebrew. When the Holy Spirit is speaking through you and you just feel the spirit in the room, and then the person come up to you afterwards and say that the Most High used you to touch them,
I
and
love
they
them words. Make me want to cough. Like, book me the next one. Book me next.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking
Yo,
about. Like
it's
that's
real. It's
not
real.
like that's when you know you're living.
Yeah, man.
No money anybody could offer you, no money you could make, no nothing nobody could give you could replace that feeling
Yeah.
when that person come up to you and say, "You made me want to turn my life over to God."
Yeah. And the crazy part is the blessings come with it. You don't even got to worry about the blessings. The other
Yeah,
day I went
yeah,
live. The other day
yeah.
I went live on social media, did a little video. Next thing I know, I'm getting a cash app from somebody. They want to buy
Oh,
some lunch. I'm like, I
wow.
don't even find my
Oh,
cash
praise.
app. Like, and the
Oh,
Lord just was
praise it.
blessing me for being a blessing
Yeah,
authentically.
yeah,
It's nothing better than being authentic. You
yeah.
receive all blessings by being authentic.
Indeed, indeed.
Man,
So where do you want to take the? You said you want to go travel. What kind of circuit do you want to travel on?
I don't even know.
Mm,
I don't even know.
mm, mm-hmm,
I just want to go. Like, take
mm,
me anywhere, everywhere, any kind of way.
mm,
I just don't want to get so caught up in it that I lose the remembrance of who's seeing me through it and bringing me through. That's the only
mm,
thing I don't want to lose.
mm,
Um, but I definitely want to. I want to travel. I want to go like continental. I
mm-hmm,
want to go universal. I want to go country to country. Like I want to go as far as I can go.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then your life started to move on. You had a new relationship and things of that nature. And then the Most High said, "You've been doing my work, and we're gonna. I'm gonna send you. The Most High sends you. How you say his name? Kair.
Kayer Mari. Yeah.
Wow.
Kayer
Talk about this whole experience when the Most High blessed you. Like, just take me there, cause I'm. This is your story.
Yeah. Man, I always after the baby, like even a few days before I even found out I was having a baby, I was like, I ain't having no more kids. I don't want no more kids. I
Mm.
can't go through that heartbreak again. I don't want no more kids. I got home, long be short. I was pregnant the whole time the words was coming out of my mouth.
Mm.
And I just knew that it was time for God to give me back some breath within my body, some breath that I had lost. Because the
Mm-hmm.
loss of a child will really take your breath away.
Mm.
But when I knew that Kair was on his way, I wanted a baby girl because I was afraid that I would compare the two boys.
Mm.
So I wanted a baby girl. Like God, just give me a girl, so I don't got to compare them. But when we went to the ultrasound appointment, I took all my immediate family with me for the gender reveal. And
Dope.
when a lady told me that it was a baby boy, I knew that I had to bring him into this world so he could be who God wants him to be as well. Um,
Mm.
and the life of my son has he's amazing. Like that kid, he's got so much personality already. He just turned 1 this past Friday. That's his picture here. um and he just gives me life. Like he just gives all of us life. He's restoring a lot of broken pieces. My
Mm.
mom, her heart didn't break just once. Her heart broke twice for her grandson and for her child. My grandmother's
Wow.
heart broke 3 times for her child, for
Mm.
her grandchild, and for her great grandchild.
All
um
facts. Since you bringing it
so
out. Yeah.
yeah. So like this child has brought so much life back into all of us, and I give God all the glory and honor, because even though I feel like I can't do it, He can. Um,
Mm.
and even when I feel like I'm not the best mom, or even when the enemy tries to come in and make me feel like I'm gonna lose this child if I do this or do that. Like right now, I'm battling these thoughts about getting him into things where I need to figure out how he can learn how to do things on his own to avoid what happened to my son. Um, and it's out of fear. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
pressing a lot upon this child because I'm fearful.
Yeah.
But I'm trying
Yeah.
to break those walls down because he's different. Like this child is different, and he's a child of God, and I know he's a child of God. And I didn't really know that with my first son, but now that I know it, I'm not a fear. I'm not fearful of anything. And I just want to train him up in the way he got to go.
Um, trust into with his father. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because the Most High made the man to be able to calm the woman down because y'all are naturally nurturers and y'all gonna worry. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I
So
like that.
running a lot of the stuff past his father so he could guide you in what you need to do. That's why he made the man the spiritual head, and because the woman is gonna be up and down. It's natural for y'all to be like that because y'all the nurturers, y'all the carers. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be real emotional. But that's why you need your righteous head to be able to be like, don't worry about it, babe. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah.
also too, always take him with you to the doctors. Always take him with you when you take your son to get seen,
Hmm.
because they're gonna try to put a lot of pressure on you as the woman because they know that you can make emotional decisions. So you always need him there to be like, nah, because he's gonna be the righteous, logical thinker.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Deep. Yeah,
Always do that. Always make sure he's present because they'll try to get you to do all types of stuff that's not good, but he's gonna be the righteous head for you.
I like that.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All
Let
right,
him
so
be the
let's
father.
talk about life now
Yeah.
and
Yeah, man.
what you got going on, what you got coming up, because we didn't spark it back up.
Yeah.
Roll it out for me.
I've been seeking opportunities. I'm getting ready to fill my books. This is
Mm,
my second one. I told myself this year I was getting 5 settings of me being in front of the people. This is my second one
mm.
so far. So thank you for this opportunity.
All
Um,
praises.
I'm getting ready to start working on my third book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on top of that, I'm also back in school working on the journey to completion of becoming the doctor that I said I was going to be in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that, but it's getting ready to come to pass.
All praises.
Yeah, so I'm busy and I'm just being a mom. I'm just taking more initiative to complete that self-care thing too.
Mm.
So I'm learning to be more authentic with myself so that I can be authentic with the people as well. So I'm learning myself. I'm growing in my career goals, and I'm also pursuing more of the entrepreneurial journey because I deserve to, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is my sister Regina. She
Hey,
has a serious story. I'm gonna link you two together so
please.
y'all could build. You know what I mean? Because y'all both went through the same type of thing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So then y'all could build and take it from there.
Yeah.
In closing,
Uh huh.
if you sat down with a young lady that had just experienced what you experienced, and you had to see her face to face, or say the hospital where that people called you in, and you walked into that room and she was sitting there, what advice would you give her?
To take her time. Hmm.
Mm,
To believe that time does really heal wounds.
Mm,
to hold on to the fact that something's better got to come of it. Yeah, I didn't really take my time. I wish I would have taken more time to get to where I am
mm,
now. I tried to do all that it is that I'm getting ready to do now in a place that I wasn't supposed to, in a place where
mm,
I healed, in a place where I was holding on to more than I needed to. Unforgiveness, pain, agony,
mm,
PTSD. I tried to
mm,
be who God was going to call me to be eventually at a time where I wasn't supposed to. So I just want her to take her time, to
mm,
believe that it will get better,
mm,
and to believe that it didn't happen without a purpose.
mm. Do you feel that sometimes people try to rush people grieving process?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially if you show that you're trying to move through it, they're gonna try to push you through it. Like I wish sometimes I wish I would have taken advantage of the fact that my family was expecting me to fold. Because I jumped right back into work, hard labor too. I became a CNA in the midst of COVID. Like that was hard
Mm,
labor in geriatrics.
mm,
And I just wanted to work, 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 work. I just wanted to press it down, press it down, press it down. And my family kept saying, relax. Like I still was living at home. I didn't even have to move the way I was moving. Um, but I did because I wanted to fight it. I wanted to overcome it. I didn't want it to break
mhm,
me. I was so scared that I was going to lose myself, but I was losing myself regardless, whether if I worked hard or if I sat still. It was time for me to break off who I was in the first place to become who it is that I'm getting ready to be now. Um, so I really feel like people do rush the grieving process for other people, especially when you tell them that you want to overcome it. So you got to be honest with yourself and let yourself know that it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And that lets people know that, they got to give you time in order for you to overcome it.
Along with your relationship with God, did you seek any kind of therapy or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm still in therapy now.
Mm,
But I was in and out. You know what I mean? Because
mhm,
as soon as I
mhm.
started to talk about it, I wanted to close it. I
Yeah.
didn't talk about it no more. So I would skip sessions. I wouldn't show up. But in this season, I've been in therapy. This August will make one whole year.
All
My
praises.
son passed away. It'll be 5 years in April that my
Mhm,
son transitioned.
mhm,
And this is the first year that I've been consistent in therapy for longer than maybe 2 months. Um, and I'm glad and I'm happy, and I encourage people to go through therapy because it helps you to peel back layers that stem from birth. Like it helps you to peel
mhm.
back layers that can help you with overcoming the things that you're going through better than you ever had before. So yeah, I see God and I see my therapist. She helps me through a lot of things. Yeah,
Are we gonna end this on a positive note?
let's do it.
Give some shout outs to some people that you know really was there to help you through this process, man.
Man, first and foremost, to God be the glory. I thank
Mhm,
God for all that He's doing, for all that He's done, for how He's keeping me in this season, for how He's using me in this season. Second and foremost, my mother. Whew,
mm.
whew, my mother.
I
Man,
remember her.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing because she used to
No, she
turn
was
up.
cool. Ain't nobody. Everybody was cool with me. It was all love.
Yes, so my mom, man, she's carried a lot of my weight. She's
Mhm,
carried a lot of my weight for me, and I can't wait to give it all back to her and to let her load be a little less of what it is now. Because
mhm.
when I get to that place where I'm able to take care of her, I'm gonna really take care of her.
All praises.
To my grandma, whew, my grandma, she don't say much. The grandmas, they be chilling, like she don't
Uh
say
huh.
much, but she's there, she's present. I
Uh
love my
huh.
grandma, my mom, ladies of my life. My stepdad Joe was there through it
Mm.
all, kept a roof over my
Mhm.
head through it all. I appreciate him for that. Um, to my fiance and his mother, uh, saw
Mm.
me through. They kept me in these rough seasons. They carried a lot of my weight too.
Mm.
They carried a lot of my weight too. To my friends, my dearest friends, my friend Tori, she has my heart. She's a close sister, more like a sister. It's nothing like somebody being a sister before they're a friend. My friend Tori, she kept me through a lot too. She saw me through a lot. She knew my son, my first son, was a student of hers, and she knew
Mhm.
him from that. And I held on to her in the midst of it. All my friends, all my family. Shout out to all of them because they haven't failed me yet, and I appreciate them.
Mm. Thank you so much, Jazz, for coming on. My first guest. It'll never be another first. I
Yeah.
always say that. Now, once we get done, I'm I sent you the YouTube link,
Hmm.
and also I'm gonna send this to my app, and I have some clips in about 15 minutes. So then I'm gonna download. What I'm gonna do for you is I'm gonna download the clips in the OneDrive, and I'm gonna send them to you to use them whenever you want to use them. You're probably gonna be tired of me posting them, but because I'll be posting like crazy.
I love
So
it.
and then I just want to thank you for coming on, man. Hoping we break the ice with this. All praises to the Most High. But
Yeah,
the Spirit always wanted me to do this type of podcast. Like this
proud of
was
you.
this. The other ones was good, but this what I think it was building me up to be able to do this, man. You
Man, the
helped
title don't-
so many people tonight.
yeah,
You
and the
helped
title
so
don't lie.
many people tonight. All right.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you for
All
having
right,
me.
no doubt. I love you. Take care.
You too.
All right. Wow. I think we all praises to the Most High. It was a good first night, man, and I want to thank God and thank you guys for tuning in tonight to this special podcast. Tune in next week as we have a very special guest coming on from Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's all. I'm gonna keep it right there, and you'll find out soon. So enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom. Oh, don't tell me it's freezing. Hold up. It's freezing. Let me see. All right.